What is up, everyone? It is the Fantasy Slant Week 10 edition. John is finishing up watching the Patriots lose, and then he will be jumping on here. And if anybody in the Southern Jersey, Philly area sees Jim, please go ahead and snatch him up, bring him on home because he's late for the show. So no word from him, but as always, we are here still. There's a representative, and like I said, John will be here as soon as the Patriots go ahead and finish losing this game, which is about 2 minutes and 52 seconds away. So hold your breath for John. He'll be here shortly with a disgusted look on his face. Watch, mark that one down. So, yeah, absolutely disgusting game going on right now in Germany. Colts are up 10-6, which I'm sure most of you are watching. I hate these. I hate these European games being on the West Coast. Like I'm not getting up at 6:30 in the morning on a Sunday on my day off to watch a football game. Nope, not happening. Uh, it's really terrible for a country that's never going to really get on board with football anyway. Alex, hold the W for this week. I'll let you have it. That was a disgusting game. Jets defense played fantastic Monday night. I mean, held that offense in check almost the entire time. I mean, he played fantastic to hold a Chargers defense to what was it, 160 yards. That's impressive. But man, the defense showed up for the Chargers on a way I've never seen. And I think I was talking to you about it. Like I was worried about Bosa and Khalil Mack and our offensive line, and it was offensive. I mean, Bosa was going through the backup offensive linemen like they should have been playing like ball. It was gross. I mean, Bosa was everywhere. God, do we want to put a tight end on him? No, just let the third string right tackle try to handle Joey Bosa. Should work. Should work just fine. Again, not really sure how you get into coaching at the professional level, but I don't think it's as hard as it seems. I think you just got to know somebody, and then next thing you know, you're an offensive coordinator and head coaching candidate when you have a quarterback that wins a Super Bowl. It's crazy. Um, yeah, he looked unstoppable. He looked really unstoppable. So that was it was not a fun game to watch. I was hoping it was going to be, but it's not. But the Jets have a chance for redemption today. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Chargers as well. So a lot of things to get into. Injuries have kind of eased off, but there are still some big ones to note. So you're going to have to get creative, and we do have, of course, the continuation of our bye weeks. So um, as we go through, let me bounce back over here. So, who do we have on a bye this week? This week is the Chiefs. That's a big bye. The Rams, the Dolphins, also a big bye, and the Eagles. So, lots of high scoring offenses out this week. So, it's going to get very creative. We got to get creative. That's how we win. So, let's start checking through these games and see where we want to focus. Get your questions in on what you want to do for fantasy this week, especially with these buys and people injured. Where are you stuck at? What are you going between starting this guy or that guy? Let's get those questions in. Let us start working through them and get you a W, because this is where the wins start. So with that, Texans at the Bengals. Bengals are 5.5-point favorites, but no T. Higgins. It was looking like most of the week was no Jamar Chase, and he is cleared to play, but we don't know what that's actually going to look like. So he might go full. He might be limited. They're not really showing their hand. So this is going to be a risky one. I have Jamar Chase. You've got to start Jamar Chase, I think, but I'm really, really nervous about this matchup. On the Texan side, no Nico Collins, which means we kind of saw Tank Dell jump to a new level last week in that crazy CJ Stroud game and coming up clutch with two big catches to give them that win. Continue to see that this week. So if you're down a wide receiver and Tank Dell is available, man, I should have done my tongue warm-ups before this. Then go ahead and grab him. Absolutely grab him, start him for Nico Collins because I think he's going to have a great game against the Bengals. Um, and outside of that, I mean, there's not really the Texans. I mean, CJ Stroud, that's something to keep an eye on again this week. Like, he's had some ups and downs. He started out really hot. He kind of came back down to earth over the last couple games and then exploded last week for 41 fantasy points, which was insane. Um, so with that, can he do it again against a Bengals team that can also score points now? It looks like they've kind of had a revival and woken up a little bit. So this is going to be a really fun game right out the gate to start to check out and see what happens. And who would have said the Texans were going to be a fun game to watch? But CJ Stroud, man, he looks real, and it's kind of crazy to say an Ohio State quarterback looks real. So in this one, though, I'm gonna actually stick with the Bengals. They look hotter, a little more seasoned, but I expect a really high scoring game in this one. Fun shootout game to watch. That's gonna be really fun. All right, Alex. Sure can't trust Gabe Davis, can we? Schultz for the Texans looked awesome last week. He did look awesome. Um, Gabe Davis he's that guy, man. You start him if you need to, but God, he's a hard guy to trust, man. Even if he balls out, which he had a good game last week, I believe. Let me jump back and look because I know we were talking about this last week on who to trust, and he's a tough one to trust. Where is he? Here we go. And that was I think in this one. Where did he go? Oh, no, he did nothing. 0 for 0 on 2 targets. Stephon Diggs, 7. Oh, yeah, it was the Dalton Kincaid show last week with 11 targets, 10 catches for 81 yards. Yeah, Gabe Davis just disappeared. So, yeah, it's hard with him because he could put up 3 touchdowns or he could go over and give you that big old fat goose egg. He's tough to trust. But Dalton Schultz looks like he really created some type of trust and connection because CJ Stroud was looking for him quite often, especially in the end zone. So Schultz, also a nice play. Thank you, Alex. That's from a tight end position that's hard to find. Really, really looks good. So I like that game. I think it's going to be a huge fantasy producer. So if you can grab some people in that one, especially, Tank Dell, Tyler Boyd, somebody of that nature that's going to have to step up in T. Higgins' absence, grab that one. It's going to be really, really good, high scoring matchup. So, I really need to get sponsored by energy drinks since you guys see them constantly. But all right, next up, Saints at the Vikings. So this was a really good feel good story last week for the Vikings and Josh Dobbs to step in and just lead them to an improbable victory after being on the team for what was it, 3 days, 4 days? Step in and lead that offense to a victory. Pretty crazy game to watch. I don't expect that to happen again this week. The Saints defense is very good. You're flip flopping. I think what they played Atlanta last week. Dome team. Now we got 2 more dome teams just swapping spots. So Saints are very comfortable playing indoors. They're fast. Alvin Kamara is still playing lights out. Michael Thomas is in the lineup today. Even though he just got hit with a assault and battery charge. I don't know what these guys are doing in their free time, but got hit with that. So he's going to get in some trouble, but he is playing today. So I guess he needs to earn as much money as he can. So he'll probably try to ball out today. So maybe he can get close to some bonus money. But besides that, I mean, this Vikings team is still not that good. Without Kirk Cousins, I don't expect a lot. The Saints defense, as we all know, is very good. Dobbs learning a new offense is not going to get the Atlanta defense to pick on. So this is a much, much better defense. The mistakes are not going to be forgiving, and the pressure is going to be a lot more intense. So I expect the Vikings to take a step back. Again, no Justin Jefferson, but he is getting close. So Justin Jefferson owners out there, hold on. It's coming. It's coming back. And he's a man. He's something special. So probably a week away from seeing Justin Jefferson. So if you're hanging in there at the midway point here and you're 4-4, like got to squeeze a win out here and then get your superstar back. So Saints side again, like I said, Kamara looks like an absolute must start. Olave's probably going to get a lot of targets in this one too. So from the Vikings side, Addison is going to continue to eat, especially with Osborne out as well with Justin Jefferson. Like, I expect Addison and TJ Hawkinson to have a big, big week from that side. Like I said, I don't expect a lot in this game, but they're going to get targeted because they're going to have to throw the ball. Madison has been completely up or down. So, really, with that one, like, bye weeks, you might have to start him, flip a coin, and just hope for the best because there's either it's boom or bust with Addison. So you're probably forced into starting him. I own him in a league, and I've benched him for since like week 2. I haven't had the guts to put him in. It's really really tough. So um, with that, start him if you need him, but there's real I mean, that is just a hold your breath, close your eyes, and hope he punches one into the end zone. Really tough matchup there. Give me the Saints in this one. They're 3-point favorites, low scoring, 40-point over under. Not as low as some of these other games, but I'm going to take the Saints in this one to travel up. The defense is better, and I think it's going to be them that cruise to victory. They just benched Mac with what, 30 seconds left in the game. 121. Turn into Bailey Zappi. Yeah, that's going to work. All right. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll see if Bailey Zappi could step in out of the cold and lead his team to victory. Let's see where they at. This is incomplete pass. They're at their own 30, 121 left, no timeouts. Yeah. Seems like a good time of the game to put Bailey Zappi in. Like, Jesus. Again, coaching, right? Crazy to think. But Jonathan Taylor in this one's at 69 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 catch for 6 yards. So at least he's squeezed a touchdown in there. That's good to see. And nice. Nothing crazy from the Patriots side since they haven't scored a touchdown. All right. Vikings. Scratch that. Okay. Packers at the Steelers. 3-5 Packers heading to Pittsburgh, take on the 5-3 Steelers. This is a 38.5-point over under, so rather low scoring. And it looks like tied for the second lowest scoring game, which is weird. Nope, 3 at 38.5. Okay. So yeah, lowest scoring tied game here. Yeah, the Steelers keep winning. They are a hard team to play at home, right? This Packers team looks not themselves, a little bit lost. Jordan Love is definitely struggling quite a bit. The running game is holding it. That's really what's treading water right now and keeping them alive in games. Even though they are 3-5, a lot of the games have been relatively close. They haven't had a lot of blowouts, but the running game, AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones have been kind of holding this offense together and keeping it alive. Romeo Dobbs has, in my opinion, clearly overstepped Christian Watson as the wide receiver in Green Bay. It just seems like Jordan Love is looking for Romeo Dobbs a lot more. So if you need a wide receiver, again with those buys, like this could be an opportunity for you to throw Dobbs in there as a real dart throw. But I feel like he's the guy that Jordan Love seems to be looking for most of the time. So from the Packers side, obviously you can start both running backs every week because they're both getting touches. Obviously, Aaron Jones is still the 1A there, but it looks like AJ Dillon is slowly but surely chipping away, and he's got tree trunks for legs. So super power back there. He's going to eventually be a number 1. And on the Steelers side, again, Kenny Pickett is learning how to play football. Pickens, fantastic wide receiver. I mean, you can't go wrong starting him if you need to. And Deontay Johnson has definitely stepped back in, and he's looking comfortable. He's given him some weapons to use. Najee Harris, I don't know what happened to him, but apparently Alabama running back syndrome got him, kind of like Trent Richardson a couple years ago. All the talent in the world, can't convert it onto the field. So he looks like he's slowly fading out of existence, which is sad. So avoid the running game really there. I mean, Warren was getting some run last week, but not enough to say like you could start him. So I think in this one, the Steelers still pull this one out. I think they're gonna find a way to go 6-3 with, no business being 6-3, but they're going to pull it out at home with a better defense, and I think I don't wanna say a better offense, but a more balanced offense? I don't know. So, give me that one. Give me the Steelers in this, and some nice numbers from the Steelers wide receivers today. I think will be good, and, Romeo Dobbs, he's my other guy there, to play. I think I like that one. All right. So let's get a quick update here on this. Looks like the game's over. So waiting on John to jump in. Hopefully he does soon. As much as I love doing this by myself, it's much more fun to talk to somebody. So let me see where he's at. Uh, all right. So let's keep rolling here. All right. Titans taking on the Bucks in this one. This is another one to watch with Will Levis. They are 3-5. They're 0-4 on the road this year, so they're traveling down to Tampa Bay to take on the Baker Mayfields. And this is a game that the Titans could win. Realistically, I mean, you got to lean on the run. Obviously, very heavy with the Titans. King Henry is the guy there, so he's going to keep it going. Obviously, Will Levis is somebody to continue to keep an eye on. Looking pretty good coming out the gates, as you guys know, and what he's doing is bringing a resurgence to DeAndre Hopkins, who for some reason decided to go to a run-first offense when he had his pick of teams to go to. But that's neither here nor there. He is coming back to life with Will Levis. He is Will Levis is like, oh wow, I have DeAndre Hopkins. I'm going to throw him the ball. Tannehill never thought of that for some reason the whole first half of the season. So Will Levis is definitely bringing him back. If you have DeAndre Hopkins, nice matchup today against the Buccaneers. I think you've got to start him if he's on your team, without a doubt. Buccaneers side, Mike Evans continues to do Mike Evans things. He defies time and logic. He's a very, very good wide receiver. And luckily, his last year stuck down there in Tampa Bay. So he's going to be moving on after this year, which would be fun to watch. But yes, definitely start Mike Evans. Chris Godwin, also playable here. And Rashid White, who just keeps putting up numbers, like very, very quietly, putting up really nice fantasy points week in and week out with a lot of catches. If you're in a PPR, Rashid White is like just a dump off machine. Everything is just, he is Baker Mayfield's outlet, and he looks for him often. So Rashid White is a nice play. If you're looking to add a running back, like that's a guy you could probably trade for not a lot. Like the name's not big. The Buccaneers aren't big, but his fantasy points are really, really nice. And if I could find them real quick, let me see. Where do I have you? Oh, perfect. In this league. So let's go over Rashid White's game log. So last week, 25 points. The week before that, 14. Before that, 12. And then down to single digits at 5 and almost 10. But that's going back to week 4. But over his last 3 weeks, where he's really, really been starting to be used, 12.9, 14.4, 25.9 last week. Projected 12 points this week, and projected 10 to 11 points every week for the rest of the season. So a nice play there if you can reach out and get him, because I think he's going to exceed that and probably be close to averaging 15 points a game going forward. So nice, especially if you could plug him into a flex, take 15 points a week. Like you can't really beat that. So look for Rashid White in fantasy if you can get him, which you could probably get him away from somebody who wants to sell high right now, but I think that's going to continue. All right, in this one, I'm going to take the Titans to upset in this one at home. Tampa's 2.5 point favorites. But I like what the Titans are doing right now. The momentum's on their side, and I think they win this game. So, which means hopefully a lot more action for Mike Evans and a lot of catches for Rashid White to back up my claims there. So, as we continue on, This is going to be an interesting game. 49ers traveling cross country to take on Jacksonville. This is a 1 a.m. or 1 a.m., 10 a.m., 1 p.m. game. 10 a.m. for us West Coasters. So, again, my theory of West Coast teams traveling east playing an early game has an early effect. We'll see if that happens. The 49ers have been struggling, losers of 3 in a row. And the Jaguars have been looking better each and every week. So this is going to be a fun game to watch to see. Does the early start time affect the 49ers at all? Can they snap a 4-game losing streak? And can the Jaguars continue to get better? We do have who's out this week. So we got Zay Jones is out, and so it's just going to be Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, which are 2 really nice wide receivers. Please go ahead and start them, because this game should have a lot of shootout potential in it. So you're going to want your guys on this one, right? So obviously Christian McCaffrey, yeah, you're going to want to start him. It's also 70 degrees, which is something that San Francisco's probably not used to. So it'll also be interesting to see if the heat has any effect as this game drags on, how that affects them, especially being an early game. They're a little bit out of it, and then they've got to get up to tempo, and does the heat kind of zap them later on in the games where Jacksonville's going to be used to it. So that's going to be something to watch. Again, lean on Christian McCaffrey. He's going to score a touchdown because they make sure that he does each and every week. And on the Jacksonville side, love Travis Etienne, been absolutely killing it. I've been pounding the table for this guy to start getting the ball, and he is this year, and he is crushing. So huge weapon there for the Jaguars, like the wide receivers, like Trevor Lawrence this week against the 49ers. That defense is outstanding. But the Jaguars have a lot of pieces, a lot of weapons. They're at home. It's an early game, and momentum is in their direction, and the 49ers momentum is going down. So this is a huge game for the 49ers to turn it around. It's also a huge statement game if the Jaguars could win. So another early game, and we haven't had these games to watch. The last couple of weeks, we've just been like, this game, that game. Fun games to watch finally in week 10 to keep an eye on. It's going to be a really, really good week, I think, of fantasy football. So again, in this one, start guys, target guys in this one. If you're playing DFS, also nice target game to play as well. So again, I'm going to take the Jaguars in this one. I think they stun the 49ers, drop them to 5-4. Jaguars go to 7-2 and take a very, very clear lead in their division. So San Francisco is a 3-point favorite, and this is a 44.5 over-under, which is on the higher side of the matchups this week. So should be some scoring, should be fun to watch. Check it out. Enjoy it. Good football for week 10. All right, here we go. Now, when we talk about weird flips here. This game is strange to me. Browns at the Ravens, and apparently Vegas thinks this is going to be a defensive game because it's a 38.5 point, which is tied for the lowest scoring game of the week, which I wouldn't think the Browns and Ravens would get that designation. So the Browns coming in at 5-3, Ravens coming in at 7-2. So that's going to be, hey, John just jumped on with us. So let's go ahead and bring him in before we get into this, catch his thoughts on the game, and then we'll jump into the Browns Ravens. If I could bring him in. There he is. Johnny B.
Good morning,
What's
Joe.
up, man? How are you?
Good, great, grand.
I love the Chris Farley reference there.
Yeah, great, grand. No yelling on the bus. So I'll just dive right in.
Just dive right in. It's yours.
And Joe, you and I have talked, teams, make the game at least watchable. And what the Patriots did to me today was they gave me enough for me to keep watching. They have a 90-yard drive. He throws a pick. Yeah. And Alex, I'm sitting here watching this game, and it's not all Mac, right? So did Mac make terrible throws? 100%, yes. The the interception at the 2. All he had to do was throw it 3 yards into the end zone, and that's a touchdown to Gesicki. But it's the whole offense. The defense is playing good. Today they played pretty damn good, I thought. I thought they played great. Again, Gardner Minshew is not watching him full-time today. He's another one that if he just got the ball out sooner, he would be so much better. He just holds that ball forever when you got receivers and running backs wide open. But anyways, back to the Pats. Ugly game on the offensive side. Mac was 15 for 20. It seemed like he had more incompletions than that. But awful penalties. Wide receivers aren't turning around. Gesicki, that one overthrow in the back of the end zone the drive before, he didn't turn around until after the ball was over his head. It's like, you're in the end zone already. Why aren't you looking back? So I think it's a combo between Mac's terrible decision-making, the offense as a whole, just they don't have the players. We're on our friggin' fourth, left guard guy who played in he was running a car wash a few weeks ago is now blocking. And I'm not taking any juice off Mac. Mac isn't good. So isn't good around him. It's even magnified. So, we're 2-8. My son's just sent me something that said, hold on, let me read the text. But they're so mad. They're more passionate than I am because all they ever seen was the Patriots winning.
Yeah. It's shock and awe right now.
Yeah. Caleb Williams is officially on our radar. And I couldn't agree more. We're going to have our pick of after watching the Oregon USC game last night. Bo Nix looks pretty good, but he's also like 36 years old too, I think. He was like playing on Auburn when Cam Newton was there. So I don't know his, what I mean? I got to look at that guy's age, but just a bad football game, man. I just want to watch a good football game. Give me enough throughout the game. 3 times in the red zone, 0 points. So that means 5 times they were in the red zone, you come up with 2 field goals, a missed field goal, and an interception that's a 2. It's like, come on, man. I mean, that's 42 points if you score on all those friggin' drives. You know what I mean? If you just get a touchdown. And I don't know. It's hard to watch. It's hard to watch New England right now. It is. It's just, I don't know.
You know who you're talking to. So
I know.
The Jets are not they're not in a much better situation right now. And I think it's the same exact thing. Like, has Zach Wilson played great? No. He also hasn't made a lot of terrible mistakes. But it's like you said, like the entire offense is playing bad. The offensive line is terrible. And what does that do? That magnifies all of the weak spots.
Right.
It just does. You can't cover it up when you can't play up to your strength. So
I will say though, I think if Rodgers was healthy, and it's like I said on our text thread earlier, you guys got Wilson, you guys got Breece Hall. At least you guys got like a true number 1 wide receiver and a true number 1 running back. Stevenson's looking better the last couple of weeks. I think he was hurt most of the year so far. He's looked pretty good. But what a team, Joe, if we could combine, take our offensive linemen out, take Zach out, take Mac out. You put Rodgers with Breece Hall and Stevenson. You got Garrett Wilson and Kendrick Bourne, because I love Bourne. The guy's electric. And then you throw like a Gesicki or a Hunter Henry in. That's a pretty good nucleus for Aaron Rodgers. It's just you can't play any of our O-linemen because they all suck. You know what I mean? It's just I mean, and Mac Jones, I'm getting these texts. Mac doesn't move. Mac doesn't do this. I'm like, he had 2.5 seconds to decide something. What do you want him to do? You know what I mean? He's getting sacked all over because and nobody's even open. How is like somebody right off the line not even remotely open? And that's what I see. That's what I seen with the Jets and Chargers last weekend when I watched that game. It was identical, man. Identical. We get no separation because I don't know. I don't know. It's just.
And then by the time you get separation, there's defensive ends in the backfield already, and the quarterback's no longer looking downfield. He's trying to figure out his exit before getting smashed. So
he's trying to save his life, is what he's doing.
Yeah.
So it's. Again, I blame Mac's poor play on Mac. just like Zach Wilson. He's in the same kind of group as Zach right now, man. They're not good. So when everybody around them, when they aren't playing up to par or they're playing second and third stringers, it's just even magnified. I mean, it really is. It's just magnified.
It's a lot to put on a young quarterback.
It is
as well. So I mean, that's hard. And and my argument on the Jets side of that too is Aaron Rodgers lasted 4 plays behind the healthiest offensive line we had.
Yeah.
4 plays, and he was running for his life.
Yeah,
on
and he was
all
out
of those
already.
plays.
Right.
Yeah. So, and everybody, Mike included, we need to get Aaron Rodgers back. We just have to make it to get Aaron Rodgers started the season and couldn't get through a series and was running for his life with the best, healthiest offensive line the Jets had.
Right. What's going to happen now?
He's not. Yeah. You put him back there right now with a third string right tackle starting. He's dead. He is dead. Like, Zach Wilson gives you your best option because he can actually get out of the pocket. Like, Trevor Siemian, no. Boyle, no. Like, Zach Wilson's your best option. And as much as people don't want to hear it,
I was surprised, though, Joe, they didn't even, maybe call Carson Wentz. Or maybe they did. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
but, I mean, just a veteran quarterback on the sideline. You know what I mean? I don't know. But
I think with an offensive like this, with an offensive line that they have, both teams, what quarterback are you plugging back there that's going to succeed? I don't know. I really don't know.
That's why I hope the Patriots just go Malik Cunningham. Just name the start of the last 7 games. You know what I mean? You know what you have with Zappe. Zappe's not the starter. Yeah. Bring in Cunningham, somebody, just anybody who can friggin' play quarterback.
Before we roll off the Patriots, the last thing that Alex brought up here is I don't know if you could see the messages before that, but Mac benched, love to see it, he said. Why with 2 minutes on a game-winning drive, is that the time that you're choosing to replace your quarterback? That doesn't make sense to me.
I said the same thing. Even my dad texted me. He's 79 years old. He goes, now is not the time to change a quarterback. When you're trying to, it's pure desperation. Maybe. I mean, it has to be, but what did you think you were going to get better? So a guy who hasn't played it down all game and you tell him with 1:52 left, whatever it was. Hey, man, we got no timeouts, no pressure. You know what I mean? No pressure. So let's see what you can do. And that's exactly what we thought. Why didn't you spike the ball right there? A veteran quarterback spikes the ball so you can get a play on. You had one wide receiver downfield. That was the only guy running downfield. The rest of them were just kind of just standing there. So 4 D-backs are around him. He throws it in the middle. He falls, and then he asks for whatever. It was just that whole thing just was terrible.
Yeah,
I should have jumped on the show 10 minutes earlier. Is what I should have did.
I know. I've been talking about myself for almost 2 weeks now. It's not fun.
I know.
I don't know where Jim is. I do have an APP on him.
He said something about he didn't have a laptop or something like that. I think that's just because he knows the Giants are worse than the Patriots and the Jets, and that's pathetic right now.
Yeah, I think it is. We'll get to that in a second. So where I'm at, so a good chunk through this one already. So I already talked Texans Bengals. I expect that to be a good, fun, exciting game.
That's gonna be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, and that's so right before you came on, that's what I was kind of talking about. Is we've been talking the last couple of weeks about like all of these matchups are just like, bleh, who cares? Like, not this week. Texas and Bengals should be fun. Saints Vikings, whatever. Packers Steelers, whatever. Titans Bucks, that could be an entertaining game to watch, especially with Mike Evans, the running backs, DeAndre Hopkins coming back to life. Like, that could be a fun game to watch.
I see some offense in there, man. So my DraftKings, I am big on some Tampa players. I have I'm a huge fan of Mike Evans and D-Hop today, so I got them both in. Thank you, brother. You too. You too.
Travis.
I like Rashad White. Maybe not in the running game so much, but the passing game, amazing. PPR monster.
I just broke down his numbers over the last 3 weeks. That's what I was telling people, like, trade for him. If you can, if he's out there, he's not a name that's popular, but the last 3 weeks he's had 12, 14, and 25 points. He is a dump off machine for for Mayfield. So yeah, a lot in that game that you look at it quickly and you're like, Titans Bucks, but there's a lot in there.
Will Levis has an arm, and they want to unleash it. Let's face it, they want to unleash his arm. So
yeah,
I think you play D-Hop the rest of the year. And Baker Mayfield, you know how I feel about Baker and anybody else who's watching. I can't stand him, but he's a loser, but he's going to throw up a couple touchdowns today. You know what I mean? I picked him up in one of my who do I have on a bye? 2 is on a bye, and I made a rookie mistake and didn't replace him, so I had to pick up Mayfield in one and Stroud in the other. So I'm like, I think I scored
was out there?
Yes. Well, wow. I had to get him off of waivers at 2. I think he was dropped for somebody else. I think they needed somebody else, so I picked him up at 2. But, I mean, I'm not starting him over Tua ever. But if Tua goes down, I feel pretty healthy. And I think today against Cincy, I know you already talked about it, I think that's going to be a fun game even without Nico Collins out. I think they get both.
Yeah.
And put Tyler Boyd in your DFS today. Chase is somewhat hurt. Higgins is already out. Mixon sucks. Put in Boyd. Put in Boyd. And whoever their tight end is. I don't even know who their tight end is.
Yep, I talked about throwing Boyd in there as a guy because
we
don't know. You don't know what you're going to see from. You don't know what you're going to see from Chase. He could go full out, or he could be a decoy. So yeah, but Tyler Boyd with T Higgins out is going to be safe, and then Tank Dell on the Texans side. I think he really took a huge step forward last week. We were talking about, and I expect that to continue.
37. Brown. Then, is it Noah?
Noah Brown. Yeah.
Noah Brown's at like 3,700 this week. I mean, just an absolute steal. Just an absolute steal.
Yep. I expect high scoring in that one. And then just wrapped up the 49ers at Jaguars. Another really exciting game to watch, I think, this week. Early game, hot, 70 degrees in Jacksonville. So you've got the 49ers that have to travel east all the way to, cross country, almost as far as you can go. Early game. And it's going to be 70 degrees. San Francisco's not used to 70 degrees in November. So is that going to drag, are they going to be slow out the gate at all? Are they going to come out the gate hot and then burn up basically
I think that San Francisco is going to annihilate them today. I mean, they got Debo back. Their whole offense is back. Chase Young has had a week and a half to get used to that team. I know their D-backs aren't the greatest in San Fran, but who the hell's blocking? You can't even double Young because Bosa's on the other side. And they already have a good D-line and linebacker core to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, I would just be rushing the Jags the whole game. ETN I'd still play only for PPR purposes because I mean, what are they going to do against San Fran today? I don't know.
So I picked the Jaguars to win this one.
Oh, I think the Niners are gonna. I think it's double-digit win by the Niners today. And sorry,
all right, good.
Travis, I don't mean to pick on. I just don't. I just think you're going to see a hungry 49ers team coming off a bye. They're healthy. I mean, probably the only piece parts on San Francisco's offense I would play for DFS is Purdy, and probably can afford McCaffrey at 95. But Purdy's like 56. He's going to have 2 touchdowns today. But you just don't. Is it going to be Kittle? Is it going to be Debo? Is it going to be Jennings? Is it going to be Ayuk? Is it going to be McCaffrey? Yeah. I think there's way too much offense today, and I see that being a blowout. I do.
I don't know. I think Trevor Lawrence can keep up, and between Kirk and Ridley and ETN, I think they can absolutely hang with them. And I mean, this is the team that's just lost 3 in a row in the 49ers. So it's going to be a fun game to watch, and the 49ers need it, but the Jaguars could make a statement with this game. And I think that's what I was kind of talking about. Like if the 49ers fall to 5-4, that's trouble. But if Jacksonville beats them and goes to 7-2, their name pops up in the AFC. About a team to worry about. So this is a game when I'm talking about exciting games to watch. This is another one that you're like, man, what the outcome of this is big for both teams. This is a
huge,
really, really big game.
Seeding, right? Seeding is huge because you got Baltimore at 7-2. You got KC at 7-2. Dolphins are what, 6-2, 6-3. Buffalo's a little behind. I mean, there's teams that are vying for number one, and NFC, you got Philly at what, 8-1. So I mean, if San Fran goes to 5-4, they're not catching Philly.
No,
the Lions are closer to catching Philly than they would be, to be quite honest.
Right. So it's a huge game. It really is. So it's going to be fun to watch. And then speaking of the Ravens, this is where I was about to dive into when you popped in. So this was a strange game to me because it's Browns are traveling to Ravens to Baltimore. Baltimore, like you just said, is 7-2. There's 3-1 at home. The Browns are 5-3. Baltimore is a 6-point favorite, but the over-under is 38.5. It's tied with the Giants, Cowboys, and the Packers and Steelers as the lowest scoring games of the week. I would not have guessed that the Ravens and Browns would be tied for the lowest scoring game of the week because there's offense there. Right?
There is, but Cleveland, I think, is giving up the least amount of points. I think they're 1, and it's either like who's 2? San Fran, I think. And that's what I mean. Cleveland's defense is good.
I'm
going to
very good, yeah. And
Baltimore they've only given up points, and Baltimore's given up 124. So you got, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Baltimore's 1, Cleveland's 2. So I mean, I can see that. It's, I mean, can either team run? I don't know. Good luck. You know what I mean? Once again, good luck. I wouldn't be starting Gus Edwards this week. I think that run is over for him. No. But I see like a 17-10 game, like Baltimore win. I think Baltimore beats Baltimore a lot too, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a tear. Really is.
But how many times do you see like this game that you expect to be a defensive juggernaut turn into this offensive explosion that you're just like, where did the defenses go? It's like it just feels like one of those games where it's going to be like
42-40. You're like, what the hell happened here? And nobody played them in DFS. Nobody started any of these guys, and you're like, shit,
Yeah, right. Yeah, like Cooper's going to go for like 250 and 3 touchdowns, and you're going to be like, what happened? Right. So, but yeah, so in this one, I'm going to stick with the Ravens at home. They're playing at another level right now, and I think
same here.
That's just a hard place to go and play. Baltimore, for not having a roof on that stadium, is loud, so it's pretty wild.
Sure is.
If they only love the Orioles as much as they love the Ravens,
I mean, have them keep winning. They might. I mean, they've been in last for 47 years since Cal Ripken retired. So, they finally went to the playoffs. So we'll see how the fan base is.
Right. We'll see if they come back. But
with a beautiful field too there. I mean, I don't know if it's still called Camden Yards, but
it is. Yeah,
it's beautiful there.
All right, so let's get into a not so exciting afternoon game with the Falcons at the Cardinals. 4-5 Falcons traveling to sunny, warm Arizona to take on the 1-8 Cardinals and the return of Kyler Murray and John Connor. I mean,
James Conner, yes.
James Conner,
yes.
So they get some players back. What's it going to look like? I mean, this Falcons team is like, I don't know. Like I don't know how you could have such good players and be so bad.
It starts with the quarterback, though, right? I mean, you got Heineke starting. You got Kyle Pitts, who still hasn't done anything after 4 years. You got Bijan, who's really not being used that much. You got Drake London. You got 3 really good core players. At least we think they are. But no quarterback. So they signed all these defensive players. They went and did all kinds of stuff. I mean, they're 4-5. I don't know if anybody really expected that. But Arizona, I think Arizona's using this as a Kyler Murray trade show. The next 7 weeks if he stays healthy. I don't think they want to pay him. I don't think they want to keep rolling with him. And honestly, why would you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why would you? But I mean, who knows? I wouldn't put a nickel on this game because I think either way it could go either way. So Atlanta doesn't win this game. win it. You know what I mean? So
Right. And a 43.5 over under. So they're
yeah, I
expecting
don't get that one either. They're expecting some points. I guess I
they're
don't really
expecting
get
some
that.
offense. It would be great to see Bjorn Robinson actually do something like that.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic. I'm glad myself and probably millions of others watching right now have spent a first round draft pick on Bjorn Robinson in fantasy to watch Tyler Algier get the runs there. And
See, I was a
put up
little
points. It's just frustrating.
concerned with that at the beginning. I mean, he was going as high as I get it, like dynasty leagues. He's going to go like first top 3.
Yeah.
But look at what they did to Pitts. He's a great running back, and they're comparing him to Breece Hall. I'd rather have Breece Hall, to be quite honest. But I don't trust that offense. I mean, he played 2 snaps a couple weeks ago, and one was in the fourth quarter on like a 3rd and 4. And then he said, well, he played. He was sick. He wasn't sick. He did something, which is fine. Don't go public with bad stuff. But I don't know, man. I just don't get that team, that offensive side. But
right.
Maybe next year, I don't know, for fantasy wise.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's going to. I mean, he'll actually be a nice steal next year if that happens, because he's not going to go in the first. After
he shouldn't. Yeah, he shouldn't. That's why
so
I'm just very worried.
If he drops down to a late second and turns into what people thought he was going to be this year, you got yourself a really nice 1-2 tandem there.
Absolutely.
For next year. But Kyler Murray is somebody that you definitely got to be interested in, just because of his skill set. I mean, he's made some mistakes and he hasn't looked great, but and this is something, especially from like a Jets and Patriots perspective, like, do you want to draft another quarterback, or is this the guy you take the chance on? He's got the skills. We've seen him showcase it. He's young, in the right situation, he can thrive. Do you draft a quarterback? Do you draft a Caleb Williams, or do you spend the money on somebody that you've seen have the success? You know what I mean? Like,
I guess it depends.
This is going to be an interesting thing,
right? Because he's signed to that huge deal. So
yeah,
I mean, Arizona paid him a couple years ago. If you could restructure, maybe,
right.
Hey, we'll give you 25 the first year, and then we'll negotiate from there. Mm-hmm. But I mean, if you were him, would you get back money the way you played? I wouldn't.
No, not unless I was adding years on, maybe.
Exactly. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, he'd be insane to.
But I feel like this is I don't know. I know from personal experience being a Jets fan and watching the carousel of drafted quarterbacks and the highs and the lows and the highs and the lows and the highs and the lows just repeat themselves. That maybe that's the way to go. Maybe to go the Saints route and just sign Drew Brees and go with it. You know what I mean? Because what do you draft a USC quarterback? How's that going to work out? I think we all know how that's going to work out, right? As good as Caleb Williams looks in college, every USC quarterback looked great. Matt Leinart looked fantastic in college, and he was horrendous in the NFL. Like, it's just a continuation, like that.
So the next 3 years, his contract is brutal. This year would have been the year to take it.
What's he sitting?
So next year, his base salary is $37 million. Signing is $5.8. Roster is $850. The option is $7.2 million. Cap hit of $51 million. You can't take that.
No.
He has a cap hit of $51 million, 45, 55, and 43 the next 4 years.
Jesus.
That's what I mean. You can't even like trade him, man, until 2027.
No.
It's brutal. No, it's just a terrible contract. So
yeah. And what do you do?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it could be. If he goes back to how he started his career, it's not a terrible contract. He was fantastic.
Right. But what are you building? I mean, you almost have to commit to that then and keep playing that type of offense, that moving offense instead of the set offense, you know what I mean? Which is fine. I mean, teams do it. But he's not Mahomes. Mahomes can get away with that. I just don't think he can.
Yeah. And that's something that Arizona's gonna have to figure out. But I mean, if they finish with one win, if they're gonna say, all right, well, we have no choice but to stick with Kyler because we can't afford anything else.
Right.
You trade out of number one, get a king's ransom for Caleb Williams, and then you build around him for the next couple years and put a young core around an expensive quarterback, and maybe things look a little different.
And
So,
I'm an inch taller than him, and I'm only 5'11".
yeah.
So that's a problem right there too.
Yeah. All right, so let's get to Alex's game while we got some time left here. I don't think anybody cares who's going to win that game, but I will take the Falcons to win.
I'm going to go Falcons just because that's who should win.
So let's talk about the exciting afternoon game that will be the Lions at the Chargers. I think without a doubt, 6-2 Lions traveling to LA. So it'll be interesting. Like, this could actually be the first time the Chargers have a home game. I don't think the Lions faithful travels very well. I don't even know what that statement means, the Lion faithful. But
there's such thing.
Yeah, right. I haven't met them yet, but if they're
we haven't met them.
They're close. They're very close to the epicenter of Detroit, I'm guessing. So, so the Chargers could have a home game. You might actually hear the Chargers fans louder than the opposing team for the first time since like LaDainian Tomlinson played in those early 2000s, I'm guessing. But this is going to be a fun one to watch. I mean, the Chargers offense against this defense and vice versa looks great. Jared Goff, again, nobody talks about him, but just keeps doing it. Just keeps putting up points. It looks really good. Detroit's 2.5-point favorites, a 48.5 over under. So some fireworks projected in this one. So this is going to be a fun game to watch, and the Chargers need it, and the Lions need it. Like you alluded to earlier, like this could really separate them and make them the only team that's going to compete with Philly, or at least get them real close to having a stranglehold on at least the number 2 seed if they can't get the number 1. But I mean, this is a big game for both. 5-4 would bring the Chargers back into the hunt, and 7-2 would really elevate the Lions. So what do you think in this one?
Man, the Lions can really choke on the road sometimes, though, can't they?
Yeah.
They lost at Baltimore. They lost it at home to Seattle. You're going to have to outscore them, right? I mean, let's face it. You're going to have to outscore Detroit, and what better offense to play to outscore Detroit is the Chargers. I'm going Detroit here. Sorry, Alex, and here's why. The Chargers will charger it up somehow. Somehow they're going to do it. They lose games like this all the time when they should win. I guarantee you we'll be talking next week. Yep, Chargers had that game the whole game until, Goff hit St. Brown for a 98-yard touchdown with no time left. They blitzed on 4th and 25 at the 2 with no time left, and St. Brown roasted him or something. It's going to end up like that. So, plus them coming off a bye, you get David Montgomery back. So, you'll see Montgomery and Jamar Gibbs play together. Everybody seems to be healthy on both sides, of course, minus, Mike Williams is out and Palmer's out. So that's a huge blow. So now you go from Keenan Allen to who? Who's your second receiver? I would say Austin Eckler. I don't think it's the rookie yet. I don't think you can put him in. They talk about their tight end, but they don't. That offense wasn't built to throw to tight ends. It was built to throw to Williams and Keenan Allen. So I'm going to give and I think Detroit's pass rush is better. I think Chargers are good, but I think Detroit's even better.
Those are two outstanding defensive lines.
They are, and that's what I mean. I guess it's going to come down to O-line. I know Alex put the D-line, but I think it comes down to O-line, to be quite honest, because they both are very good. Yeah. It's just who's going to play, who's going to score more. I just think Detroit's going to score more. I think it'll be close, but I think the Lions have too much firepower.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with you. I like everything Vegas has here. 2.5 points for Detroit. So expecting a very close game, and 48.5 over under. I mean, that's up there. You don't see too many games that are at 50 or pushing 50. So this is going to be the afternoon game to watch. And again, this continues on with there's fun football games to watch, even if your team's not one of them. There are fun games to watch this week, which is just awesome. But I do expect a fun game, a close game. And I think, the Chargers will find a way to charge it. This Lions team is very good. And I think they're going to find a way to pull it out. Very, very close win either way. Whoever wins this game, it's going to be the last second.
Yeah, it's going to be the last drive.
Yeah, and I think we could spend about as much time in seconds talking about this game as the Cowboys are favorited. So the Giants at the Cowboys, 17.5-point favorites for the Cowboys.
You know what's great is the over-under is 38.5, so that means they're predicting that the Cowboys won't score over 38.5 points because the Giants are not scoring. I mean, let's face it. I would probably bet Barkley to go over 63 yards rushing because he has to. I teased the line down to 12.5, I think, when I started putting my bets in for the Cowboys Giants. And one thing I never do on DFS, when I'm creating my lineups, I normally will go to defense last because I pick everything first. I went and paid $4,400 for the Cowboys this week because there's a potential they're going to score 50 points.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now what's going to happen? The Giants are going to score. But now the Giants will score 50 points. Somehow they're going to score. Danny DeVito or Tommy DeVito, the mobster, who was playing against who was playing in crowds of 45 people just a few years back in his Division II team. It's just crazy, man. So I mean, I had to pay the $4,400 for the Cowboys, and
it's a smart move.
Yeah,
they'll probably have 3 fumble recoveries, 2 pick sixes, and a partridge in a pear tree.
They should, yes, they should. 100%.
I don't know if you get points in DFS for partridges and pear trees.
You should. I'm going to have to write that one in. I'm going to have to write that one in.
It should at least be worth 6 points.
Right.
At the
and
very
Alex,
least.
I agree. Johnson needs to step up. They need to get Everett more involved, but they don't get the tight end involved. No. They don't have a number 2 receiver with Palmer and Williams out. I think that has to be Eckler. I do. I think they need to throw up more to Eckler, but I don't know.
We'll see. All right, and then
you too, sir.
Yep. Enjoy the game, Travis. Commanders at Seahawks. I think the Seahawks win this game. 6-point favorites. They're at home. Commanders are going to fight. Brother. They're going to have a tough game with the Commanders because they're a feisty team, the Commanders. But I think the Seahawks handle this one at home, get back on the winning side, and squeeze one out.
I think this is a Kenneth Walker game. I get Kenneth Walker in a few of my DFSs. They got no D-line over in Washington right now. So
yeah, it would be nice if they actually used him.
I think
featured him more than 9 carries in a game.
I know.
Because they're killing me, but I agree. And then tonight, Jets, Raiders, game of the week, Sunday night football. How honored are we to get to watch this again? 4-4 against 4-5. Jets are 1.5-point favorites. That cannot mean anything good for the Jets. So the first time the Jets I think they were favored last week against the Chargers too. And it was probably the worst offensive showing they've had all season. And that's saying something watching that Giants game. So being favored on the road, Sunday night football, after you scored 6 points against the worst passing defense in football does not give me warm fuzzies. Just doesn't.
No.
35.5 points.
I think the Raiders win. I think they're better offensively. I think this is another Patriots Colts game.
Yeah.
We started off Thursday with the Bears and Panthers, and this is how we're going to end Sunday night. We put New England and friggin' Germany for the whole world to see. Yeah, good choice. Good choices for Week 10. You know what I mean? Yeah, great choices for Week 10 because let me tell you, they're not doing us any favors. I'm sorry, they're just 2 bad teams. They're just 2 bad teams on Sunday night. I mean, would it surprise me if the Jets won? No. But I'm only going with the Vegas because it's a home, because it's in their stadium and it's going to be all blacked out, and the maniacs in the end zone will have their shoulder pads on and spiked up helmets, and it'll be fun to watch. But Jets D, man, they don't give up any points, so
they don't.
Who knows?
Aiden O'Connell's going to have a tough time, I think, in this one. Rookie
100%.
Quarterback,
absolutely.
What'll be interesting too is there's some talk going back and forth with Devontae Adams and Sauce too, and talking a little bit of shit. So I like seeing that. I hope Sauce travels with him. I know you've been calling for that for a long time. I'd love to see Sauce travel with Devontae and go one-on-one and really establish, like, if you lock down Devontae Adams, that's saying something. He's almost unstoppable. So really, really exciting. I'm excited to watch it. Of course, I'm going to say the Jets pull this one out. I think they have the better running back, not necessarily the better wide receiver, but two
the
legit
Jets have
number
the better
ones.
running back?
Oh, Brees Hall? Yeah. I
think
Brees
he's better
Hall's
than Jacobs?
Justin. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know about that one.
We'll see.
I don't know.
And I don't believe in Aiden O'Connell, so I don't.
Oh,
know.
And I don't believe in O'Connell or Zach Wilson, so you can just I think you can swap them teams and you'd see
nothing
changes.
See
this exact Throw Matt Jones in there too. Maybe some Brian Hoyer. Who knows? You may see some Brian Hoyer today.
Right?
Who knows?
You could. So I mean, Max Crosby's going to be hard to stop for the Jets. I think that's going to be. They've got to figure out how to do that and put a tight end on that side of whatever side of the field he is lining up on. You move the tight end to there, and that's your job. You're not here to catch balls today. You are here to stop Max Crosby. Like, that's it. Put Uzama on him, and you're doubling him every time. So the Jets defense is better, and that's why I'm going to pick the Jets to win this game. So and then
good luck to you, sir.
Thank you. I have to root for my boys.
Of course you do.
And then Broncos Bills Monday night. That's going to be disgusting. Bills at home, and they're only 7-point favorites. Come on.
Let's look how they've been playing, though. I mean,
not great, but it's the Broncos. I mean,
no, but still, here's my thing. If I was a Broncos fan, I'd be kind of pissed because Russell Wilson not having a terrible season at all.
He's decent.
He's serviceable. You know what I mean? He has 16 touchdowns in 8 games. He's playing well. Yeah. But it's just the rest of that team. I think Sean Payton took something that he thought it was going to be easy walking into, and that team is just garbage at times. Yeah. Just garbage.
Yep. Well, they're not using a lot, so on their running game, and I don't know, defense is kind of taking a little bit of a step back. So Alex,
Ravens scored already. Would they run it back?
See, I told you it's going to be a high scoring one.
Oh no, pick 6.
A lot of defense, but scoring.
Oh boy, I think I picked up Baltimore in one of my leagues too. Jeez, let's hope so.
They shouldn't be out there. You shouldn't have the number 1 defense available to pick up in week 10. So, Alex, have a great day, buddy. And it was great serving with you, bud. Enjoy the day.
Yes, sir. Great serving with you too, brother.
Titans are moving down the field. Steelers are moving down the field.
Yeah, Ravens already got me 18 points. I like it.
Wow.
I'll take that.
I don't know what league you're playing in that CJ Stroud's available and the Ravens defense is available, but good for you.
2 different leagues. I'm more now for about 4 weeks. Stroud is a 10-man league, and I think he was go after they played Carolina. It was one of those emotional dumps,
Okay.
Where they get mad,
that one.
and you just dropped a quarterback that has thrown 14 touchdowns and 1 interception. That one
just
hurts.
Rage quitting. They just rage quit.
Rage quitting. I like that, man.
Yeah.
Rage quitting. That is so true. Good stuff.
Cool. Well, that's all the games. They're obviously up and running now for the week 10 early games. So, it looks like Baltimore's got the ball again.
Yeah, another pick. What the hell's going on right now? I mean, it wasn't 3-0. Yeah, it wasn't 3-0. What just happened?
I don't know, unless it just hasn't updated.
Maybe it didn't update. Are they going over it? No. Wow, and it was only an 18-yard touchdown reception, so it was deep in their territory.
Yeah. Wow. Crazy games. All right. Well, expect a lot of fun games. Like we said, right out the gate already. This one has the first scoring, and it's the best 2 defenses. So imagine that. Anyway. All right. Well, guys, enjoy the games. Best of luck to your teams. Hopefully, we didn't get any questions. So hopefully we still found a way to help, or at least entertain you for the last hour. And until next week, we'll see you then. So stay safe, have fun, and
Peace.